Hello, folks. My name is King, Bliss King. I mean, if you don't watch this show, then what do you want to watch? There are not many legends in Ghana, so if you have one, you have to respect and celebrate him. It's KSM, and every Friday he's here with the KSM show. You better be watching. Indeed, I'm Yakata.
And we're back, and I'm talking about, every now and then I do a show that I have a list that I call, this guest is on the C list. And the C simply means captivating. I've done a few of those. When I say this guest coming up is on the C list, and the C stands for captivating. Well, folks, my next guest is on my C list. Very, very captivating guy, man. You know this cliche that says this guy or this person is a jack of all trades, but master of none. We say that a lot. Well, today I'm going to be speaking with a man who is a jack of many trades and master of all. Show some love, man. He's a jack of many trades and master of all. And I'm talking about this guy who in 2006 was given a national grand medal for the role he played in Ghana getting into the first World Cup series in Germany. Man, you got a medal for that. Show some love. That was in 2006 and 2008. He received the grand medal in Ghana. When they say Order of the Water, it's like the biggest thing you can ever think of in awards. The Order of the Water. He received the Order of the Water for his contribution to the development of media in Ghana. Here's a lot, man. And if you're wondering who I'm talking about no other person than my great friend, my great buddy. Put your hands together. Show some love for Dr. Randy Abbey. Doc, how you doing, man? Good. Good to have you here, man.
Yeah, good to be on your show.
Yeah, long overdue, man.
Yes.
Wow.
This should have been some 7 years ago.
I know. Don't have him here, man. Show some love, man. This guy, he's a man to respect. Well, outside, before the show, I was telling you that when you have a guest like this, it's so difficult. You don't know where to start. You have done so many things. It's very difficult where to start when you have a guest like Dr. Randy Abbey. Let's talk about Dr. Randy Abbey to start with, We all saw on the TV, Randy Abbey. Then the next time we tuned in was Dr. Randy Abbey. You have a doctorate in business administration?
That's correct. From the Swiss Business School, SBS Swiss Business School. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I study on the quiet.
You study on the quiet because he says on the quiet. Folks, I never come on my show with a paper. Honestly, I always try to memorize and come and show the word that to me memorize it. But this man, his stuff was too much, man. He is a doctor of business administration that you got from the Swiss Business School.
Yeah.
All right. And then I also noticed you have a Master's of Business Administration, General Management from the Australian Institute
of Business.
Put your hands together, man. That's not it. You have a postgraduate diploma in management from the same institute. Then you have a postgraduate certificate of management from the... it goes on and on and on.
I try to, take time off too.
What do you do it? We see you on TV.
Yeah.
Host of, by the way, another award-winning show. The Good Morning Ghana is an award-winning show. So love for that, man. Congratulations, by the way. I've never congratulated officially for sweeping that award for having the best morning show.
Thank you very much.
So when you have time, on the morning show every morning, when you have time to be studying all these things, I just went through just 3 of them. They are about 10.
I try to, I try to make time, to do that. And I remember many years ago, I think about some 22 years ago. I don't know if he remembers. Moses Farm, we need a lawyer.
Yes.
He once met me at the Accra Sports Stadium, and I was like, young man, I've been listening to you a lot. I think that you're good, you're brilliant, very analytical. Tell me about yourself. So I spoke, and he said, oh, you know what? Talent can take you here, but to go beyond here, you need skill. So I advise
talent can take you
here,
this far.
Yes.
But to go beyond talent,
you need skill. So I advise you, you're still young, I advise you to make it a point to educate yourself further. So initially I didn't take him, serious, but upon sober reflection, I realized that, look, I needed to to do something. Yes, you could be talented by virtue of some education that you have. You could be eloquent and all that, you know. But in the kind of competitive and ever-changing world that we are in, you always need to try and upgrade yourself. I mean, even with Ghana's labor law, employers are entreated to train and retrain, you know, staff, and so you always need to, you know, try and expand your horizon, try and learn new things, and try and build your capacity. It is important for yourself, you know, and for the kind of work that some of us have decided to do. It is very important that you always try and upgrade yourself. So I took it upon myself to, you know, try. I always say this, that for the about 24 years that I've been in the media, none of the media institutions I've worked for has ever taken me on even a 1 hour workshop before.
Wow.
You know, and that's a big problem with media that we need to look at, training and development. Only a few of the institutions in the media space indeed have training and development plans and do that. So if you don't,
basically they put you on air and they just leave you there.
And you see the local language has even made it a bit more difficult. So you're eloquent, you can be able to go on a computer, you know, search engines, and then that's it. You're just thrown out there. And you see, we have little respect for the power of the microphone, you know, and how influential the microphone is. And because we do not value that power, we think that we can have unrestrained, untrained voices and faces there. You know, even with those who are trained and all that, we have problems. You know, and I sometimes get surprised that we have not made it a point to really look at issues of training and development. So back to the point, I mean, I took it upon myself that, look, the institutions are not going to do it for you, but you must also believe in self-development and try and also invest, you know, a little.
Those are two key things that I hope the youth out there you're listening. Self-development, and invest in your self-development, because you can be working for an organization, but at the end of the day, it's you that counts. What do you have? What do you have to offer? So sorry, and then please continue.
You know, so that was it. You know, and so I just decide anytime there's opportunity, I try and go do something. So you realize that I have
many of them.
I've done many things, and sometimes I sit back and I'm like, wow. So how did all this happen? So studying for a doctorate, studying for 2 master's degrees, postgraduate certificates and all that, professional training in arbitration and mediation, you know, human resource, advertising, marketing and PR. You know,
so you find it to do that? You're also on the board, you're an executive member of many boards.
Yes.
I was
private resort.
You're an executive.
Yes, I'm on the board.
I still don't know how you do it, man.
You need to manage your time. You need to, you know, when there's a will. You know, sometimes I'm with my friends and I say, look, I need to go. There was a time when I was studying. My wife was studying. Our kids were also studying. So it was a house full of students.
You
know, so we all need to find the time to do it. And for me, it's also a challenge, even for the kids. You know, that, well, if I, irrespective of all the busy schedule, have been able to do these things, I mean, you have no excuse, you know, not to go as far as you can. And for me, you know, on a lighter note, I also think that is to make up to my parents, because, you know, at a point in time, after sixth form and all that, I was like, look, I had enough. I mean,
really?
let me make money. You know, so let me go to you know, let me go to, you know, we have all these shops around Okanshi and Tudu, and so when we're in school, every vacation we go around there, and then, you know, you make some money and all that. So at that time, you know, a young person, Charlie, I'm going to school, and they were going to make money. There's money at Makola and Okanshi and Tudu. Why do I go and worry myself? You know, and they kept fighting me. You know, that, no, look, you need to go, you need to push, you need to go.
Yeah.
Yes, you need to push. So there was that break, you know, and then by accident I got into the media. So I also believe that I owed myself that which I didn't do. And the fact that I didn't also make them happy, because these were people who were not fabulously rich, but they were prepared to do everything, you know, to get me to whichever height I wanted to. And I took that decision at that point. And so I thought that, look, I owed it, you know, to myself and to them to ensure that whatever I didn't do in the manner that they wanted me to do, I still will be able to do that, you know.
Thanks for leaving me there. So who are your parents?
Okay.
Your dad, your mom?
Well, unfortunately, both of my parents are gone.
Okay.
Yes, my dad, SLK Abbey, Samuelai Kwashabi, he was a managing director of State Farms. So I had some early days at Akuko Photo. He was a victim of the revolution.
Oh, really? 79?
Yeah.
Well, he was
in his occurred in 1982, right after the 81 coup, you know. Yes, and he is also a veteran. You know, was drafted into the Second World War at the age of 16. You know, so it was after the war that life started for him, going to school. So at the time he even went to university, he had my eldest brother already, you know, before he went to, but he still didn't stop him from going to school. So he did his his postgraduate studies when he was a father, you know, but this was a determined person, you know, and he did all that. My mom, AC Mensimanyan, Elizabeth, fancy lady from Cape Coast, she also passed on a year after my dad.
A year after?
A year after.
What year was
my dad died in 2012, and my mom in 2013. And then the closest of all of them, my grandmother, in 2016. So it just continued like that. Yeah. So both of them, both parents are no more.
Oh wow. Well, belated as it is,
Yes.
etc. Condolences.
Thank
you. But there's a bit of that spark in you from what I'm learning about your father.
Yes.
You know, definitely the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Well, I mean, because of the incidents of 1982, I didn't.
What exactly happened?
I didn't spend. I mean, like I said, it was the acting MD of State Farms. He was picked up by the soldiers. I was in class 4 then, you know. So our mothers had to come for us, you know. And
he picked you up from school?
No, I was there. I was with my mom, and I spent the vacations with him.
Okay.
So at that time, we lived at a place called Akuko Photo.
Yeah, and that's
yes, that was the estate, you know. So we lived in there, and he was picked up by the soldiers one afternoon, you know. And for you know, those days they would tell you whatever something against the state or something. So in fact, he was at the National Reconciliation.
Oh, he made an appearance.
Yes, he made an appearance at the National Reconciliation. Then my friend Kweku Baku decided to give me out. You know, when he did the story, what happened was that I was supposed to be with him, and he miscommunicated the date. He wanted me to be there with him at the
National Reconciliation.
Yes, and the date was miscommunicated, so he had to rush there without me.
Okay.
You know, and then when Kweku Baku's paper was publishing the story, he left a footnote that Mr. S.L.K. Abbey is the father of Randy Abbey. So that was when people realized that
that's what blew your cover.
So that's the bit about my dad. So that really unsettled him. Eventually, when he was free and all that, I mean, it was difficult for him to bounce back. Did a few consultancies and all that, but he never really recovered, you know. But he was a strong guy, so he kept pushing and pushing and pushing until he died at the age of 84.
84?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So did that particular incident or that whole period have any direct influence on you in terms of...
It did, you know, it did, because initially, you know, when it happened, I was that young, And so I knew something happened, but it really didn't, you know. And my dad was a person who always wanted us to take independent decisions. I mean, things that he wanted us to make our independent minds about stuff. But of all his kids, I was the one who chose the path of journalism, politics, you know, that kind of stuff. So one day he decided to sit me down. That was when I started at Radio Gold, you know, to tell me about what happened and to show me documentary evidence and all that. You know, the truth of the matter is that encounter then changed, you know, me. Once he told me all those things.
Wow.
You know, and he said that, well, he was...
So before then, you just assumed that you didn't really know the intricate details.
Yes, not the details. I knew that something went wrong, but not the details. And like I said, he as a person really didn't want us to be affected by. And you know, I was his last. I'm the last of his kids. So my other siblings are older than me. You know, and growing up, I mean, the older ones all left for the UK. You know, so I was sort of here. You know, and he never really wanted anybody to carry his cross. You know, so he told me that he was having a conversation with me because of the professional path I'd chosen. So he thought that I ought to know certain things so that when I'm making decisions, at least I'm mindful of that. So I do not tell him tomorrow. I do not say that if I knew of this situations or these facts, I wouldn't do that. And so I would take decisions on the basis that I have full knowledge and I have taken the decision I have taken, so that I don't blame him or anybody for not knowing, you know. Yeah, so that's basically it.
Okay.
But beyond that, I mean, he still didn't have an issue with the choices I made.
Okay.
I mean, and he didn't have a problem with not agreeing or agreeing with my choices, you know. Yeah, and we always had our discussions and all that. But I was much more closer to my mother, and especially to my grandmother, than my dad. I mean, very close to my maternal family, because from that time, it was just about my maternal family. So there are those who I spent a lot more time with. So my aunties, my uncles, my cousins from my maternal side. I mean, there are those who I was much closer with. But growing up, there are quite a number of those from my paternal side that we've become, that has become very close to me. Yeah.
So then he sat you down and revealed to you exclusively what he went through. Did that have any direct impact on who Abbey is now?
Yeah,
or
initially, it did. I mean, initially it did. I mean, so because it was like fresh stuff on me, you know. So I sit down in my quiet time and all of this happened, and you know. But over time, you know, you then put things in perspective. Things happen. You begin to question whether there will be enough basis for you to think in a particular way for this reason forever, irrespective of current situations or things that you have experienced yourself. And so as a person, you begin to always contextualize things, and on the basis of that you take decisions. Yeah. And up until my dad passed on, I mean, he was always proud of me. He was always happy about me. He didn't necessarily have to agree with the decisions that I took, but once he spoke with me and I told him why I took those decisions, he respected them.
He respected the decisions, yeah.
I mean, he respected the fact that we can all not think in the same direction. It's good and fine if we agree on some things. It's also good and fine if we do not agree on some other things. But the most important thing is that we both respect
each other,
our views on issues.
Fantastic.
And that's it.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get some more exciting stuff coming out of you. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show. ahwefo ene de ya sanda bibi foforo abadwa so eye erata yenton cars nkoa se open quick service open so maintain wo car ubetimi aba ye wo original synthetic oil, that is castor oil for high grade cars, and your low ones, and we have the speed made oil from Korea, your brake pads, your oil filters, your all the original items that you need for your car. Ball joints ni bibia and it is all per quick service about your car. Please don't hesitate. Bombardier Bre Rata Motors na ebe bibia ma. So we parts bi na ho ayentina ma na wunya. Bombardier ba, oba me hu parts na ebe je chances no ba ebe order part na ma at a very reasonable cost. It is